I dare say that everyone here would say yes to the statement of Scripture, with God, all things are possible. I don't think you'd be here if you did not believe in God and the God to whom all things are possible. But maybe we stop right there and we separate man from God. My purpose is to show you that we are not two, that we are one, that God actually became man, that man may become God. And so begins one of the most profound lectures that Neville Goddard ever gave on living in the end, on using the imagination. That was recorded in 1968, and you can find that on YouTube. And now I'm just going to read the rest of my introduction that I wrote in honour of Neville Goddard. So I hope you like it. Neville spent the best part of his life speaking of the imagination and God as being one and the same, in the hope that the truth of these words would be heard and understood, enabling many to live in the love and power that is our birthright. He wrote of visions where he experienced Scripture and spoke with authority on the infinite states that the soul passes through before awakening to its true nature, which is God itself. Although Neville did not associate his teaching with the New Thought movement or any of the other isms, as he liked to call them, he is often grouped into this category. He simply loved to study and talk about the Bible, which he described as the only book. Neville Goddard wanted people to know the love of God and realize that we are rich beyond measure, but do not know it. Encouraging people to always choose noble states was a theme he returned to regularly, stressing that you do not have to compromise your integrity for anyone. He knew instinctively that there would always be those who would make bad choices in life through a mistaken belief that they had few possibilities and would consequently grab at all opportunities, even if they were the crumbs that life offered. By teaching that all things are possible and that we can be masters of our lives rather than letting life master us, he advocated and gave hope of a happier and indeed more honourable way of living. Neville believed in the symbolic truth of the Bible and did not see the Bible as secular history but as salvation history, literally true and yet happening outside time, an idea hard for our finite intellect to understand. He gave instructions which are as deep as they are practical, concerning how to develop faith in unseen reality, allowing our prayers to be heard and our desires of the heart to be lived in this world. It is my belief that his teachings on faith are precise, reliable, and complete, and will eventually lead to purposeful discussion between both Christians and non-Christians who believe that everything originates from consciousness, which is God. No matter how people's beliefs differ, I hope many are open-minded enough to test these principles out, and in doing so, achieve success in bringing their dreams to life. Margaret Ruth Broom, a good friend of Neville's, wrote the following extract from the preface of The Creative Use of the Imagination by Neville Goddard. Her words are worth considering even more so now than when she first wrote them several decades ago. So this is it. Always bear in mind that when Neville speaks of man, he is speaking of generic man, man-woman. Man is the external world, the natural man, while imagination is the internal world, the man of spirit. God, imagination, became the natural man that the man of nature may become God who is spirit. Neville Goddard used the language of the time and the language of the Bible. Therefore, when he speaks of man, he is referring to mankind and is including both men and women. We are extremely fortunate that Neville Goddard lived in a time when people were able to record his talks on tape recorders, and frequently did. Many of his lectures have now been generously uploaded to the internet, where this great man's elegant and commanding voice seems to address us alongside his audience from beyond the limitations of time. He spoke eloquently, intelligently, and spiritually, without notes, never hesitating or wavering in the confidence and authority of one who knew what he was talking about. I direct you to his talks and the deeper study and contemplation that satisfies the soul.